Good morning, I'm Fani.
Good morning, I'm Charlotte and we are from Viva Consultants. We're here to answer your questions on cryptocurrency today.
It's open season for SARS.
Correct, it's not sold.
So the moment they have information and they've opened the audit against you, we can no longer apply the meeting.
You're the last time of my work. Hello, Fani.
Hey, Charlotte.
A lot of people have a lot of questions regarding cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is the big hoo-ha of the day. And so we want to know from you, what is new in the cryptocurrency with regards to tax?
Well, I think that everybody has been very lax about reporting cryptocurrencies. People made big gains during COVID and previously, and those have not been reported by most people because everybody thought, okay, there's no information exchange going on, nobody really cares about the crypto, SARS is not going to pick it up on any information systems. As you know, with the banks and with interests, that they have reporting regulations, so any interest that's earned in your bank account gets automatically reported to SARS. And with the new auto assessments, a lot of people, especially salary earners, they just go and say, okay, I accept my return. SARS has calculated everything and they go on. They do not consider any trades that are not automatically reported to be reported to SARS. We have had some new legislation come in the end of December last year by SARS, which is the globe taxes for big companies, multinationals, which is also a big push from the OECD. And along with this, SARS also announced some GARF regulations. Now that stands for the Crypto Asset Reporting Framework, which the OECD released a couple of years ago. And SARS has now decided to implement. So the draft legislation for that have been released in South Africa. That happened, I think, somewhere in September, where it went to Parliament. And the implication of that is that that regulation will be implemented on the 1st of March 2026. Now, what this means is that all of that niceties that the banks have to do with the regulation reporting and information exchange with other currencies, with other companies, other banks and countries, they will also now have to do with cryptos. So any crypto exchange, Bitcoin, what's the one in Cape Town? Luno, all of them will have to comply with GARF. So the normal people out there, they don't have to worry about the GARF legislation, essentially, because that's for the companies to sort out. But a big implication for the people are that now all of your crypto trading is going to be directly reported to SARS. And the catch is it's going to be retrospective.
Okay.
And yeah, that's why I kind of emphasize that a lot of people haven't reported it, and they might get in some trouble when this actually gets reported to SARS.
So let me get this right. Am I understanding correctly that you're saying that even if I don't sell my crypto assets, I still have to declare that here in my income tax return?
Yes and no. So it works kind of like when it falls on, well, first of all, it depends whether you are a trader or holding it for capital gains. I think let's start there. The type of taxation that's going to affect it. So most salary earners, they will buy shares and hold it for long-term gains. That will fall under capital gains. And that mostly gets reported, let's take 91, for instance. They report it under IT3B to SARS, and it will show any movement throughout the year. It will show the opening and the closing balance and whether any shares were sold or not. Now, if the shares were not sold, then that information merely gets stored at SARS and there are no taxation implications. Now, for the cryptos, essentially the companies will have to do the same. So there's nothing for the individuals to report. This is more thing about the individuals not actually keeping track of what they bought and sold. And then if they did sell something, they have to report it as a capital gain. If you are a trader, then obviously there are a lot of more implications because then it becomes income tax, and that can actually put you in a higher bracket a lot faster.
Okay, so let me just understand this correctly. If I'm an individual and I held on to some cryptocurrency, I did not sell it within that financial year, I do not have to report it
there's no reporting obligation
to SARS at that stage.
Not for the individual.
However, once I do sell it, I do need to declare it on my tax return, right?
Yes, and in the year that it is sold, it has to be declared. So if you did sell it in a prior year, then essentially you have to go and declare it. We technically have to go and reopen that tax return for that year, and there will be interest and penalties. There are ways to minimize this. We can do a voluntary disclosure to essentially minimize any penalties. But this has to be done before SARS picks up. If the Gulf legislation kicks in and SARS already has the information that you didn't declare any capital gains that you should have, you can no longer apply the VDP.
Okay.
And another important point, is just that a lot of people think that if they didn't withdraw any money from their crypto wallet, they didn't sell it. That's not correct. A selling action happens if you buy Bitcoin and you sell the Bitcoin, or you trade it for Luna or for any
XRP,
any other currency out there. That is a trade. That has to be reported for SARS because there was a gain made between the buying and the trading that happened. And that can be a lot. So there are ways to mitigate this, but essentially the big crypto traders out there will actually need to have an accounting system in place to keep track of all the trading.
So Fani, let me ask you this. If I had to sell my cryptocurrency and it paid out in China, let's say, for example.
Yeah.
Will SARS still be able to pick this up? Or am I safe? Can I assume that SARS will never pick up the selling, the proceeds I've made from that cryptocurrency?
Okay, so China is an interesting one that you asked me now. So the normal rule is for South Africans, any South African residents are taxed on their worldwide income. So it doesn't matter where in the world you're keeping those assets, it has to be reported to SARS. At the very least, it still has to be reported to SARS. Whether it gets taxed or not, that's a whole different ballgame, and that will, at the end of the day, be determined by the tax treaty if there's any applicable. But it still has to be reported by SARS.
Okay, so I'm assuming we should all rather be safe than sorry.
Yes, always rather be safe than sorry.
Declare your taxes.
I always tell people, just remember, Al Capone was caught due to tax evasion, not because of murder.
There we go.
Yeah.
On that note, Fani, anything else that you would like us to remember when we do some cryptocurrency trading?
No, so I think the important parts are that for the 27 financial year, any retrospective crypto trading that has happened since 2015 will be available for SARS for viewing, and they will have the power to go and open those assessments. Normally they can only go back for 7 years, which would be 2018, but if they can prove, and due to the information exchange they will be able to prove that it was possibly tax evasion, then they can go and open the tax returns up until you were born. Okay. So I think indefinitely. I think the important part of this message is that if you have done any crypto trading, rather contact a tax consultant like myself or anybody else like Charlotte so that we can get your tax reporting up to date and make sure you pay as less tax as legally possible.
There we go. Thank you so much.